Rincon. Barcelona doing their best to pinch back possession now on the halfway line on the left-hand side of the field from a Bilbao perspective. The ball at the feet of the Frenchman, or the French international rather, Louis Jean. He tries to stab it in behind the Barcelona back line with Nico Williams ready to sprint for it, but too heavy was the pass and Joan Garcia was out to smother it. Pedri now in the midfield third, backwards to Pau Kubasi. Kubasi back again to the goalkeeper Garcia. Out to Gerard Martin. And forward to the halfway line, left of centre it goes. First time touch from Anthony Gordon, releases the ball back to Pedri. Space to move over the halfway line and lift it out towards the right hand side. Lamine Yamal was keen to make the run. And after the interception was made by Louis Jean, Fermin Lopez got a bit too handsy for the referee's liking. And the ball needs to be brought back now for a Bilbao free kick. A fraction behind the middle third, inside their own half of the pitch. Away it goes now by Unai Simon. Out to the left-hand side where it's been brought down well by Nico Williams and lifted over the top now back towards the Spanish winger, who chases it down and now twists and turns away from Eric Garcia. The delivery is low from Williams, and lurking in the middle was Sanchez. It was a vital interception in the end from Kubasi to get in the way of one of the teammates of his over the course of the summer. And now it will be a corner kick, the first of the evening for Bilbao. Perhaps this is something for Barcelona to worry about. They can get some of their bigger players forward and flood the box with bodies. In swinging corner to come. It's the delivery from Sanchez and an unobstructed clearance by Gerard Martin back out to the corner kick taker. Laid off creatively. Louis Jean with the delivery, left-footed, deep towards Inaki Williams, who was lurking at the back post with intent. And getting in the way was Xavi Espart, who flicks the ball out for a Bilbao throw on the near side. Level with the edge of the Barcelona penalty area. To be taken by Hugo Rincon. Rincon decides to go long into the penalty area, headed back out where it came from by Espart and picked up by Gordon before it goes out of play. Anthony Gordon pushed into the corner of the pitch and then thought that he was fouled right in front of the assistant referee as he tried to come away with possession, but Hugo Rincon apparently not as over-aggressive as he was assumed to have been by Anthony Gordon, according to the assistant referee. And Joan Garcia with a little bit of unconventional goalkeeping to do there, as it was clipped forward again for Bilbao. The runner was Nico Williams. Few can outpace him in the world of football, and Garcia decided he was going to get there first, a header away from 25 yards from his own goal. So in is the result, and Bilbao use it to switch the play from left to right and now go back right to left. Brought down by Williams, immediately put under pressure by Eric Garcia. A little bit of shirt pulling from both players as Williams tries to slip it in behind for Guruzeta. He was standing in an offside position anyway as Williams tried to slip it through to him. Free kick awarded Barcelona's way as a result. 6 minutes into this game, nearly 7 at the Camp Nou. Barcelona 0, Athletic Club de Bilbao 0. It's my duty to remind you that you can tune into this game using your local broadcaster. There's an unofficial audio coverage that you're listening to, and right now it's telling you that Barcelona look to come down the right-hand side. It was Lamine Yamal lifting it over the top for the runner Fermin Lopez to try and dart in behind the Bilbao back line, but there was too much on the pass from Lamine Yamal. And right on top of it was Unai Simon. And it's forward by Canales for Bilbao over the halfway line where the touch from Guruzeta lets him down. It'll be picked back up for Barcelona now with Garcia the goalkeeper. Out to Kubasi. Now here is Eric Garcia on the right-hand side. Back across to Kubasi. Now Gerard Martin on the left. Martin forward. Espart. Into Gordon, slightly left of centre. Deep inside Bilbao territory now. Lopez with a turn and out to the right-hand side. Here is Garcia. Now Lamine Yamal able to slip it to Anthony Gordon. Can he get the shot away? The angle was closed down on him very quickly indeed. That special defending from Aymeric Laporte. A man who's been doing it for years and years at this point. Knew that Anthony Gordon would want to try and wrap his right foot around that and fire it across the face of Unai Simon's goal, and he narrowed the angle. First corner of the evening for Barcelona as a result. Played short by the taker Rafinha to Lamine Yamal. Now here is Pedri on the edge of the box. He lifts it deep and it's flicked on and flicked wide in the end. Eric Garcia was the man lurking on the corner of the 6-yard box. And it sails past the post, with Unai Simon dismissing his defenders, knowing full well that there was never any doubt that it was going to find the top corner. What the two managers will think of the game so far. Who will be the happier? It's been a cagey affair in the opening 9 minutes of this game at the Camp Nou, as these two teams just get a bit used to each other. That's a great ball forward by Canales, and the run was bending of Guruzeta, bending slightly too much in the end. From the halfway line on the left, Canales lifting it over the top of the Barcelona defence, who were in retreat. Guruzeta had a yard on all of them, but he just couldn't quite reach the ball before it bounced past him and safely into the feet of Joan Garcia. And that's where Barcelona need to be careful. They can't fall asleep. This is a Bilbao team that they know how to beat. It proves as much last season. As Lamine Yamal tries to lift it over the top of Louis Jean. Not able to do so to find Fermin Lopez, and dragging it forward now is Sanchez. That's a clever touch on the halfway line by Nico Williams. Tries to stab it through to his brother Inaki Williams. Not able to find its intended target. Now Barcelona win it back. Here goes Xavi Espart being dragged back. Surely that's a foul, and the referee concurs. Lifted out to the right-hand side quickly. Lamine Yamal edge of the penalty area, just wide. On the 19-year-old sensation. And with the culmination of that attack now, the attention is drawn to the Bilbao number 14 in Aymeric Laporte. Just as Espart was driving Barcelona forward from the halfway line there, he was being dragged back from behind by Joreguizar. There's no concerns that that would not be a free kick for Barcelona. But as he went down, he stuck his leg up and ran feet first into Aymeric Laporte, who's a player who's struggled with injuries throughout his top-level career with the likes of Manchester City, most prominently. There's no doubt that the studs of Xavi Espart do connect with the ankle of Aymeric Laporte. There's definitely no malice, and there's not much momentum that carries the young Barcelona fullback into the experienced Spain defender. This pause in play just allows the Bilbao manager, Edin Terzic, to have a quick word with his midfielder, Pello Canales. Perhaps that's a message that the rest of the team need to hear, as Laporte is lifted back to his feet. And the question of whether or not he will be able to continue is being asked. Okay, Monreal and Aitor Paredes have been sent down the touchline to warm up. They would be the likely replacements for the Bilbao number 14. For now, it seems as though the Lions are going to proceed with 10 men as they ready themselves for a goal kick. There it goes by Unai Simon. Headed back where it came from by Marc Bernal. Now Lopez and Lamine Yamal trade passes cleverly in a game of head tennis on the right flank, and moving into space now in the defensive area is Gerard Martin. Out towards the left-hand side of the Athletic Bilbao half of the pitch with Xavi Espart. Back now to Martin. Every single player for the away side at the Camp Nou currently behind the ball as Martin emerges into Bilbao territory. Now here is Kubasi. Along the floor into the feet of Fermin Lopez, who tries to turn and drive away from the defender in one smooth motion. Not able to come away with possession, but he is able to challenge Louis Jean all the way to the byline, where he wins a throw in a promising position for Barcelona, but the rigid shape of Bilbao forces them back. Here is Martin. Might have thought about the shot from range, 35-40 yards or so. Left of centre, instead he finds Gordon on the left in a crossing position. Gordon across the 30-yard line. Now it's out wide by Garcia to Lamine Yamal. Crossing position now. Lamine Yamal tries to lift it in. It deflects up into the air, and Unai Simon says thank you very much. 14 minutes played at the Camp Nou. Barcelona 0, Athletic Club de Bilbao 0. It's my duty to remind you that you can tune into this game on your local broadcasters. This is an unofficial audio coverage that you are listening to. Laporte lifted over the top now from deep. He's back on the pitch after his injury concerns. And chasing down the long ball was Nico Williams, but he was unable to bring it under his spell. Thrown back into play quickly by Eric Garcia. Now here is Kubasi to Marti. Kubasi to Marc Bernal. Garcia unable to decide whether or not to go down the line or back to his fellow defender in Kubasi, and he eventually takes option B. Now Martin into Pedri. Out to Garcia, first time pass into Fermin Lopez, who turns well on the edge of the penalty area, lifts it towards Rafinha, who tries to give him the return. Lopez hadn't continued his run into the penalty area, and awake to the situation was Peyo Canales, who got underneath the ball and sent it into the sky high above the Camp Nou. Out for a throw it goes, and that's a Barcelona opportunity wasted. Pedri to Espart now as Barcelona try and reignite the flame. Forced backwards to the goalkeeper Garcia. Now here is Gerard Martin. Pedri. Left hand side, put under pressure by Iñaki Williams. Garcia into the feet of Lopez, and Garcia continues his run to the halfway line, tries to go first time in behind. Rafinha was making the run and it looked like he timed it to perfection, but the interception is made by Laporte, and Louis Jean drags it away to the halfway line. Won back by Marc Bernal, but passed out for a throw as he tried to find Lamine Yamal. Throw in on the left then for Bilbao. Backwards to Unai Simon. It back out to the left hand side where it came from. Bit too heavy for Louis Jean, bit too light to find Nico Williams. Barcelona throw taken by Garcia. Now here is Kubasi. Martin back to Pau Kubasi, and out to the right hand side for Lamine Yamal. Fermin Lopez had made the run, but Lamine Yamal couldn't play the pass around the corner, and in recovering possession anyway, he was doing so from an offside position, according to the assistant referee on the near side, who had a good view of the situation. Kick to Bilbao. Now the goalkeeper truly been tested in the opening stages of this game. Rafinha with a very early opportunity that, as it turned out, would be from an offside position where he tried to drag the ball around Unai Simon. Ryan Garcia's had to come to clear one or two hopeful long balls for Athletic Club de Bilbao. And they might create something for themselves here, the away team. It's a throw in between Rincon and the captain Williams that's gone awry. The 1-2 return by Iñaki Williams, able to find its intended target before trickling behind for a Barcelona goal kick, taken short by Joan Garcia. Gets the return from Martin. So confident away from his goal line is Garcia. Now here's his namesake Eric Garcia, gets the 1-2 with Lamine Yamal and gets over the halfway line. Now Fermin Lopez tries to do the same, and Garcia wasn't at full sprint as the return pass was played. Louis Jean in the way, and he makes the clearance. Flicked on well by Guruzeta. Keeping it in on the byline is Sanchez. Tries to slip it in behind Marc Bernal for the run of Williams, but the interception is made by the Barcelona number 22. Going for Bilbao on the left. About 10 or 15 yards ahead of the halfway line. Haneko Louis Jean, one of a handful of players who should they be called up to their national team, would not represent Spain. It doesn't mean that they weren't born in this country, and if you want to be specific, the Basque region. In fact, the Athletic Club de Bilbao captain, Inaki Williams, represents Ghana at international level due to his heritage. His brother Nico, on the other hand, was a feature of the Spain team that was a part of the most recent world competition over in the States. That's clever from Anthony Gordon now as he receives the ball into his feet from Gerard Martin, nutmegging one player and finding Yamal in the middle. Now out to the right hand side, Lamine Yamal, space to bend one. Oh, great save. Strong left hand at full stretch was Unai Simon, watching it all the way onto his glove. After spending a summer with Lamine Yamal, he knows exactly what the 19-year-old has got up his sleeve. He took flight to push that one away. Corner to come, taken quickly by Barcelona. Pedri receives it short. Kubasi now to Lamine Yamal. Back out on the right-hand side. Lamine Yamal tries to roll it across the penalty area. Garcia was waiting, intercepted, and Athletic Club de Bilbao are going to get the ball clear. Nico Williams on the left lets it roll out for a throw. Anthony Gordon there showing one of the many reasons Barcelona forked out for him as he created that attacking opportunity. Into the middle to Bernal and out wide to Lamine Yamal. And his bending effort forcing the first real save of the evening. You know, Simon will feel inspired by that, telling his defenders to leave the ball as it rolls towards him now and playing it short to Hugo Rincon, who's had his pocket picked by Anthony Gordon. Referee says free kick. He hesitated for a moment on the whistle there, and that's what Gordon's complaining about. Throwing a leg out there was the Englishman and manages to twist both of his legs around the standing foot of Hugo Rincon. Pedri tries to make an interception to stop Bilbao getting the ball out of their half, and he manages to force Bilbao back, right the way back to their goalkeeper Unai Simon, who takes it long with a first-time clearance. Nodded into the air by Xavi Espard, brought down by Jadou Guizar. He's been tripped, referee says no free kick. Louis Jean picks up the pieces and Bilbao maintain possession. Here is Williams on the halfway line on the left. Stabbed forward by Sanchez and the run is on for Guruzeta. Out comes Joan Garcia to clear it. Had to come a long way off his goal line, as he has done a few times already in this game. Something that we're very used to seeing out of the Barcelona shot stopper. Guruzeta absolutely onside, and flailing his leg at the ball was Pau Kubasi, but he couldn't quite reach it. Now from the Barcelona throw. Edge of the penalty area with the ball at the feet of Pau Kubasi. Gets the return from Gerard Martin. And Bernal takes off, or takes a slightly heavier touch than he ought to have in that position, on the edge of his own, or on the edge of the centre circle in his own half rather. Almost ran directly into traffic there. Making a foot in was Jadou Guizar. Martin, that's a very good ball, right through the midfield into Pedri left of centre. Now Xavi Espart further up the left hand side, gives it back to Pedri. Pedri now into the feet of Kubasi on the edge of the centre circle. Garcia out to Lamine Yamal. Garcia passes it straight into Sanchez, and the ball is going to bounce away for a Barcelona throw. 23 minutes into this match at the Camp Nou. Barcelona 0, Athletic Club de Bilbao 0. Quite a lengthy feeling out period. The only major chance of the game so far has fallen to Lamine Yamal. If you want to see that and more opportunities like it, you can tune in using your local broadcaster. As Anthony Gordon makes a run into an offside position down the left after being fed the ball into his feet by Xavi Espart, and I think it might have only been his outstretched arm and his shoulder that kept him offside there, but the assistant referee spotted it no less. Clearance made on the resulting free kick by Unai Simon. Lamine Yamal in unconventional right-back position. Pedri clattered into from behind there as he got the ball, but he released it first time, and now it's into the feet of Rafinha, who can drive 30 yards right down the centre of the pitch, out to the right-hand side. Lamine Yamal, Pedri's arriving, intercepted well on the edge of the penalty area by Aymeric Laporte. Sliding challenge to stop the Bilbao counter-attack by Marc Bernal. Now Kubasi at the halfway line for Barcelona. Every Bilbao player behind the ball as Martin finds Pedri. Pedri forward, and turning on a dime is Xavi Espart. Corner of the box, lifts it in towards Rafinha, just about enough on it to reach him, and Rafinha hits the post. Lamine Yamal, it's deflected wide. Barcelona corner to follow. Rafinha inches from giving his team the lead, just as he did against Elche last time out from 12 yards. A picture-perfect header from the Brazilian. Just about enough on the cross from Xavi Espart to loop over the top of Yeray Alvarez. And the follow-up from Lamine Yamal is dealt with a sliding challenge, and as the corner is brought under control by Fermin Lopez, a sliding challenge by Williams is enough to stop the attack. Launched away now by Unai Simon. Chasing it down all the way will be Nico Williams, and out to claim possession for Barcelona is Joan Garcia. Now here is the right back Eric Garcia. Switches from right to left. Just about enough for Pedri to knock it down to Xavi Espart. Here he is again now, Pedri. Martin beyond Kubasi and to Garcia, who lifts it over the top. Lamine Yamal watches it into his feet. His first touch lets him down slightly, lifts the ball into the air, but the second touch is that of Louis Jeans, and that will be a Barcelona throw on the right-hand side. Taken by Eric Garcia. Martin. Bernal does just about enough to turn away from Canales. Now out to the left-hand side for Gordon. Alvarez. Out the halfway line for Barcelona again. Kubasi. Cross to Martin, left of centre. Now Pedri, right in the centre, turns and fires a ball out along the floor to the left-hand side. Anthony Gordon spots the overlapping run of Espart, who gets the cross in at the byline, and Simon is there to claim it. Simon encouraging his players to get out of the danger area. Only for him to roll it short to Aymeric Laporte. Goes by Unai Simon now to the halfway line. Kubasi underneath it. Louis Jean to Sanchez, who's going to bring it under his control. Tries to feed it into the middle, it's been miscontrolled. And here goes Inaki Williams, dragged back by Xavi Espart. Referee's got to say something about that. Immediately reaches into his pocket and books Xavi Espart, who made the foul because he had to. Lackadaisical defending there from Gerard Martin. Fairly poor pass into the path of Inaki Williams that should never have made it through, but the defender miscontrols it, and Espart, knowing that if he let Williams get away, he was one-on-one with Garcia, who was already in retreat from the edge of his box. Pushing and kicking at the Bilbao number 9, with the bench screaming for a red card. The referee instead opts for yellow, and perhaps if Espart had let Inaki Williams get 2 or 3 yards further forward, the colour of the card would have been a different one. With that said, it's going to be a 25 to 30 yard free kick, slightly right of centre from a Bilbao perspective. The distance on this to the point where only a 3-man wall is necessary as far as Barcelona are concerned. Right-footed taker will be Inaki Williams, or it won't be. The captain raised his hand. It's been lifted forward by Sanchez. That was something off the training ground that's not quite come off on this occasion for Bilbao. It's out with Nico Williams on the right-hand side, and between Fermin Lopez and Marc Bernal, they've been able to win it back. Now here comes the Barcelona counter, lifted out to the left-hand side for Gordon, who held his run long enough to stay onside. Pulls it back to Fermin Lopez. Lopez into the feet of Martin, and play slows down. Javier Espart will be walking on eggshells for the remainder of this game. Lifted forward towards Rafinha. That was almost perfect. The Brazilian didn't get a touch, but it's going to fall for Gordon anyway. Across towards Lamine Yamal. Pedri in the box. 1-0 to Barcelona. Flag is up. Never mind. Pedri with a wry smile as he turns and looks at the referee, who has his arm raised. And the Barcelona celebrations are curtailed just as quickly as they began. Lamine Yamal, the offender on this occasion. It's lifted towards him, and he does throw his body at the ball before he misses it entirely, and it bounces into the path of Gordon to reignite the attack across the face of goal, beyond Lamal and into the feet of Pedri, who scores, only for the initial interference of the 19-year-old to be enough to have the goal chalked off. For now, the referee is getting a word in his ear. Well, there's no doubt that Lamine Yamal attempted to play the ball as it was lifted towards him, and the offside decision stays because of that fact. While it is true that he doesn't have a direct impact on the path of the ball, it wasn't for a lack of trying from Lamine Yamal. And the outcome will be a Bilbao free kick from the edge of the penalty area. Away it goes by Unai Simon. Fizzed over the top of everybody, and the chase is now on down the right-hand side for Hugo Rincon, who is bundled into from behind by Javier Espart. A shoulder barge. He knew exactly what he was doing there, the youngster. And with Rincon getting the final touch, the ball will go for a Barcelona throw about 2 feet in front of their own corner flag. Javier Espart ready to take it. Half an hour gone at the Camp Nou. Barcelona 0, Athletic Club de Bilbao 0. As Bilbao win it back in a promising position. It was attempted to be lifted into the danger area there by Jarre Guizar. An unofficial audio coverage that you're currently tuning into. It's a reminder here to tune into this game using your local broadcaster. An offside goal has already been passed in this game. There's a couple of good opportunities for Barcelona. Rafinha hit the post about 10 minutes prior. Corner now towards Laporte for Athletic Club de Bilbao. Headed away from danger for Barcelona and recovered on the retreat by Teo Canales. It's returned to sender by Unai Simon. It's allowed to bounce on the edge of the Barca penalty area, and it's food and drink in the end for Joan Garcia. Now here is Javier Espart from the throw. Well, my assumption at the start of this game was that by the half-hour mark, the referee would call for a hydration break to allow these two teams to keep themselves refreshed, despite it being late at night and the stars being out over the Nou Camp. It's always sunny in Spain. First time ball over the top now lets Bilbao down ever so slightly from Jarre Guizar. Kubasi. Now here's Eric Garcia. Now Pedri, the man who had his offside goal ruled out just a few moments ago, an offside against Lamine Yamal in the build-up that keeps this game 0-0. Here's Gordon. Tries not to show too much of the ball to Rincon. Martin into the feet of Kubasi. Now here is Garcia, lifted over the top and a little bit unconvincing between Unai Simon and Laporte and Luis Jean. Between the three Bilbao players, none of them knew which one of them was going to clear the ball away there, and Rafinha was very nearly the quickest on the scene, but in the end it was the goalkeeper that reached it first and cleared it. The result is a Barcelona throw. Garcia. Lamine Yamal. Fermin Lopez first time, gets the return from Pedri, takes one too many touches into the penalty area. Luis Jean in the way, manages to clear it half away. Throw for Barcelona to come now on the right hand side. There's an interesting end to that throw-in opportunity there, as it was launched into the middle by Eric Garcia between Rafinha and Aymeric Laporte. They've been up for one or two headers against one another throughout this game. Apparently getting a bit too over-aggressive was the Brazilian. Leaves Laporte in a crumpled mess in the middle of the Bilbao penalty area. Referee does find in favour of the former France international. Famously never called up to the French senior team. Out to the left-hand side is Xavi Espart now for Barcelona. They've won it back after the clearance. Martin. Now Pedri. Just over 10 minutes to play of normal time at the end of this first half between Barcelona and Athletic Club de Bilbao. 0-0 it remains. An offside goal for Pedri ruled out about 5 minutes ago. Barcelona look likelier to break the deadlock. The majority of the Camp Nou thought they already had, and Pedri put the ball in the net, only for the assistant referee's flag to stop the celebrations quickly. And stopping the Lamine Yamal advance now down the right-hand side is Johannico Louis-Jean. Bernal wins it back before Bilbao get it over the halfway line though, and Fermin Lopez turns directly into traffic. Aymeric Laporte leaves a leg out. Referee says free kick for Barcelona, right of centre, 35 yards from goal. Fermin Lopez proving time and again in this game that turning on the ball is maybe his specialty. It might be the most successful trick that he has learned as a Barcelona attacking midfielder. Seems to cause all sorts of problems for opponents up and down the division. Bilbao this evening, and Elche certainly on Saturday, as he scored 2 of their 5 in the opening game of their league season. Now Rafinha will take this free kick for Barcelona. Right of centre. 30 yards or so from goal. Rafinha will go for goal, directly into the wall. Fermin Lopez was offering the right foot there as Rafinha took it with the left. And it will be the captain who recovers possession for Barcelona now. Into the halfway line, into the feet of Espart. Now Pedri. Trades passes with Gerard Martin. Into the feet of Lopez, who tries to lay it off with a smart first-time pass to Bernal. Doesn't come off on this occasion, and Bilbao get the ball away out to the left-hand side, and forward it goes towards Nico Williams, whose first touch takes it away from Kubasi. Now out to the left-hand side, getting into the boxes, Louis-Jean, just wide. Johannico Louis-Jean with the best chance of the evening so far for Bilbao. Very creatively done for the away team. There's a question as to whether or not, if Louis-Jean had stuck that in the far corner, would the offside flag have gone up against Nico Williams in the build-up, but he held it up for long enough to invite the overlapping fullback into the attacking fray, and the French international drifts inside and fires a fraction wide of Joan Garcia's goal. Pedri now slips it forward. Here is Rafinha through on goal around Unai Simon. Rafinha, he does score for Barcelona, and this time there's no offside flag. Well, after very nearly conceding, Barcelona give it 30 seconds before going up the other end and putting the ball in the net themselves. And nothing but a VAR check now will come to Bilbao's rescue. Deadlock broken by the captain, who scored twice against Elche last time out. He scored this evening. 3-2 now for the Brazilian. And there is no offside to be had here either. Pedri with the assist after being denied a goal of his own a few moments ago. He's allowed to take 2 or 3 or 4 touches into the Bilbao half of the pitch, and then one pass completely cuts the Bilbao defence to ribbons. Rafinha at full speed, getting onto the loose ball, one-on-one with Unai Simon, shows it to him one way and then drags it the other. And with the goal gaping ahead of him from 6 yards, he was going to make no mistake. 7 minutes to play at the end of this first half. Barcelona 1, Athletic Club de Bilbao 0, and we're back underway with the visitors getting us kicked off again. Here is Louis-Jean. Takes 2 or 3 heavy touches there and just about manages to bundle his way past Bernal. Can't repeat the feat with Eric Garcia. Backwards it goes to Aymeric Laporte. Back even further now to Unai Simon. Canales into the feet of Yeray Alvarez. And Alvarez goes down the line to Rincon, whose chest touch is promising, but the second follow-up touch with his feet lets him down slightly. Barcelona win it back, and Pedri now lifts it forward, looking for Lamine Yamal down the right-hand side, whose headed touch gets away from him. In the way is Luis Jean. Now here is Canales in the midfield area. He turns away from Pedri very creatively. Out to the left-hand side for Sanchez, and in behind it goes to Nico Williams. Arriving into the penalty area, Williams across the face of goal, and reading it like a book was Gerard Martin. Bilbao have looked promising when they've gone forward. There's been 1 or 2 times where they've had Barcelona on their heels, and now it's a corner being won by Piero Canales. Throw-in taken relatively quickly, trying to catch the Barcelona defence before they can retake their shape. Canales in space, bounces the ball away off Garcia. 5 minutes to play at the end of this first half, and then a Bilbao corner might be able to see them level things up. Williams, corner of the box. He drills it goalwards, just wide. Nico Williams it was. He received it into his feet from the corner taker. Decided that his most promising option was just to fire it through the sea of bodies, but in the end he put it wide of them and of the post. Now Garcia, and it's flicked on creatively by Rafinha and helped on by Lopez out to the right-hand side for Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal with a delivery with the outside of the boot. Lopez continued his run. Unai Simon got there first. Barcelona move the ball so quickly when they're on the counter-attack. The flicky-flacker football really is their bread and butter now, as Marc Bernal wins it back in a promising position. Lamine Yamal, great save from close range. How on earth did Unai Simon keep that out? Lamine Yamal fed the ball by Marc Bernal in the penalty area, away from his marker, cutting in from the right-hand side, left-footed, full power. You would have had your house on that being 2-0 to Barcelona. Unai Simon came up massive to stop that one, flinging an arm out towards it. And he parries the ball over his crossbar. Not sure he knew much about the save he made, but he spread himself well enough to make it. Corner to come now then for Barcelona, to be taken by Rafinha. They'll be amazed that they've not made it 2 just now. Rafinha's delivery is looping towards the back post. Slightly too heavy for Garcia, who just about keeps it in on the byline, and it's trickled wide in the end on the half volley by Gerard Martin. The good work of Eric Garcia there to keep the ball in play as it was lifted deep by Rafinha. And Martin deciding that the chance wasn't quite gone. Bit of a miscued half volley from the 10 or 12 yard mark. And it trickles beyond the near post of Unai Simon, who flung himself one way and then another to try and get in the way of the shot. In the end, turned out he didn't have to, but he couldn't be sure about that. Momentum very much on Barcelona's side now after the opening goal. Here is Lopez to Lamine Yamal. Has his pocket picked by Canales. Good ball forward to Sanchez. Sanchez waits and now brings Nico Williams into the fray down the left. Williams trying not to show much of it to Eric Garcia, who sticks a foot out well as Williams gets into the penalty area. Took all of the ball, took none of the man. A picture-perfect challenge from Eric Garcia. Throwing on the left to come now for Bilbao. And they save something from this first half. Score their first goal against Barcelona, given the fact that they scored none against the Blaugrana in competitive games last season from 3 matches. Sanchez felt he was pushed there on the corner of the box by Garcia. Manages to lift it to Hugo Rincon. Now it's back with Jareguizar. Out to Inaki Williams. Jareguizar with the first time delivery, which is smothered by Joan Garcia, and he wastes no time with the long clearance. Rafinha, the intended target, flicks it into the chest of Fermin Lopez, and bodies getting forward now for Barcelona, including Lamine Yamal. Lays it off to Garcia, who's arriving. Garcia tries to feed it in between two blue shirts, gets the return a little unexpectedly there after the half interception, trying to find Fermin Lopez. Instead was almost able to run into the box of his own accord. Back with Javier Espart now on the left after the challenge. Rafinha to Pedri. Rafinha, left-footed delivery, curling away from Unai Simon, but the goalkeeper comes out to grab it with both hands. 90 seconds of normal time to play at the end of this first half. One goal disallowed for offside and a very brief VAR check. One goal given for Rafinha. One injury concern surrounding Aymeric Laporte. That screams 2 or 3 minutes at the end of this first half now as it's threaded in behind for Inaki Williams, who might be offside. Approaching the corner of the penalty area now for Bilbao. Inaki Williams tries to go alone and it's beaten away by Joan Garcia, and now the assistant's flag goes up. Well, Williams had to take the chance. That's the way the game is refereed in this modern age. Tried to bend his run just enough to stay onside and he couldn't quite pull it off, not at the time the pass was made. Free kick for Barcelona is the result. In about 30 seconds we're all going to be looking at the fourth official to see what the number will be on his board. But for now, here is Eric Garcia. And Kubasi. And it's on the right hand side with Fermin Lopez. Trades passes with Lamine Yamal. Martin into the feet of Anthony Gordon. Gordon with a good ball in behind for the run of Rafinha. Nobody's picked him up again, the Brazilian, and as he gets to the left-hand side of the box and tries to pull it across, finally someone's decided to get close. It was Yeray Alvarez who threw himself in the way. Barcelona corner. 3 minutes to be added on at the end of this first half, as expected. It's enough time for Barcelona to get themselves a second goal. Create a bit of daylight between themselves and Bilbao. And a corner kick now might be a very good opportunity to pull that off. It's Fermin Lopez to take, in swinging from the left-hand side for Barcelona. It's low and it's launched back where it came from by Johaneko Louis-Jean. Second corner to come. Fermin Lopez staying where he is to take it. Taken short, Lamine Yamal. Pedri on the edge of the box. Here he is now, Pedri. Back to Lamine Yamal, who's continued his run. Lamine Yamal, it's palmed away by Unai Simon. It was a bit of a cross-come shot there from the Barcelona number 10. Doing his best to lift it into the path of another player in blue and red who could head it home, or maybe lift it into the far corner of his own accord. I believe the next action of the game will be a Barcelona corner. Yes, it will. A little bit of deliberation as to whether or not Unai Simon got a touch there, but it is played out to the edge of the box again. Now Lopez, 25 yards, space to take the shot on, finds Lamine Yamal instead. Lamine Yamal tries to dance away from 4 or 5 players in sky blue, and eventually is brought down in a collision with Aymeric Laporte, who again has gone down in a heap. It's 3 times in this first half that Aymeric Laporte has been the victim to a tangling of legs. Once with Javier Espart and now with Lamine Yamal. I have to imagine that the Bilbao manager, Edin Terzic, will be looking at his bench, thinking that he doesn't want to have to pay for any repairs for Aymeric Laporte, bless him. Once again, the medical staff are on the field for Bilbao, and this will probably be enough to see out the half. As long as by the end of the game Aymeric Laporte isn't more machine than man, then it'll be a positive outcome for the number 14. Likes of Aitor Paredes, who started the 3-1 defeat to Sevilla. available on the bench for Edin Terzic. Same applies to Iker Monreal. Well, we're 3 minutes past the 45th minute of this match. And with Aymeric Laporte being escorted to the touchline, the next action of the game, and probably very likely the last action of this half, will be Unai Simon to clear it away for Bilbao. Whether or not Aymeric Laporte makes it back onto the pitch for the second half is a question to be answered in the dressing room by Edin Terzic. Well, the referee gives the go-ahead for the free kick to be taken. It's allowed to bounce into the Barcelona penalty area, helped on by Marc Bernal, and Garcia is going to get both hands on this. Thrown straight back out to Pedri. Referee continues to let the game go as Pedri makes it to the halfway line. Now here is Gordon. Referee awards Barcelona a free kick there for a shirt pull on Pedri, taken quickly. The ball didn't even come to a complete stop now as Garcia threads it forward looking for Fermin Lopez, intercepted by Louis Jean. Tripped from behind by Rafinha. Referee surely has something to say about that. Free kick for Bilbao. 10, 15, maybe 20 to 25 yards back from the halfway line. Aymeric Laporte stood on the touchline wondering whether or not he's going to get back on the pitch before the half-time whistle, and well, he now has his answer before the free kick is taken for Bilbao. The referee decides that time's time. It's been a cagey first half at the Camp Nou, the first half of the league season at the Camp Nou for Barcelona, but at the end of it they are winning. A goal 10 minutes from the half-time whistle, scored by the captain Rafinha, receiving the ball into his feet from Pedri as he broke away from the back line for Bilbao, rolled it beyond Unai Simon and then stabbed it into an empty net from close range. His third goal in 2 games is the difference between these two teams as they make their way down the tunnel. Half-time at the Nou Camp, Barcelona 1, Athletic Club de Bilbao 0. Tune in 15 minutes. As of right now, a capacity of 62,652. A capacity that is aiming to be well over the six-figure margin, with 105,000 on the building plans. And Bilbao, the away team, get us back underway at the Camp Nou for the second half of this league game. Kicking from right to left for this second 45. Barcelona going the other direction in their typical red and blue strip. Well, neither of these teams have been substitutions at this stage, but to a thunderous applause from the majority inside of the Camp Nou, off goes Rodri down the touchline on the bench for the first time a member of the matchday squad for Barcelona since his €60 million arrival from Manchester City. And as he jogs up and down the touchline, he might be privy to watching Barcelona double their advantage, because Gavi has found Rafinha into the box and smashed over the top in the end by Anthony Gordon. Still searching for his first Barcelona goal since his arrival from Newcastle in the summer. His first competitive goal anyway. Rolled into the feet of Rafinha by Pedri. Some smart hold-up play by the Brazilian on the edge of the penalty box. And arriving right on cue was Gordon. Bit of a slice of the ball from the Englishman that sails over the top of Unai Simon's goal. First chance of the second half falls the way of Barcelona. You might have had a bet on Anthony Gordon putting that in the back of the net. He made 2 goal contributions after coming off the bench for his league debut last time around against Elche. 2 assists, 1 for Rafinha, 1 for Fermin Lopez. Now Pedri in the midfield is able to play the ball out to the right-hand side for Fermin Lopez, and Eric Garcia will see it back to his namesake goalkeeper, Joan Garcia. Now Espat. Forwards into the feet of Anthony Gordon, now lifted over towards Rafinha, and it's a little bit of a heavy pass that escaped the Brazilian but bounced beyond Unai Simon, who was lucky in the end that in his misjudgment of the placement of that ball, and it wasn't on target. Second Bilbao goal kick to come. With the second half underway now, we're nearly 2.5 minutes in. It's my duty to remind you that you are tuning into an unofficial audio commentary of this match. And if you would like to see it in full, then you are certainly able to do so using your local broadcaster. Given the fact that Barcelona have scored 10 goals in their last 3 matches against Bilbao, this feels like a game not worth missing, especially when you consider that the referee just now, for a coming together between Pau Kubasi and the Bilbao number 11, Gorka Guruzeta, lifting his foot too high for the referee's liking, right in the eye line as well of the man in charge of this game, and connecting with the forehead of Kubasi, who's now back to his feet. He's been looked over by the Barcelona medical staff, make sure he's not seeing stars, and Guruzeta is booked for his troubles. Second player in this match to receive a yellow card, Javi Esparza of Barcelona in the first half for dragging back Inaki Williams. Smart touch by Marc Bernal, in behind to Rafinha, who is clattered into, clean as a sheet, by Johaneko Luis-Jean, who appears to have got the worst of that collision with the Brazilian. Another ball that's cut through the Bilbao defence like a knife through butter. It was Bernal whose first touch allowed him to turn, and his second allowed him to feed it beyond the gap that was being created by Alvarez and Laporte. Rafinha thinking he had more time than he did, with Luis-Jean barrelling down on him. Able to make the challenge, and came off a little worse for wear, but the outcome is a free kick. Free kick taken by Unai Simon that reaches the attacking third for Bilbao before bouncing out for a Barcelona throw on the left. Xavi Esparza weighing up his options. Actually throws it short to Pedri, who lets it run across him before finding Lopez, who can turn on the halfway line and drive forward. Now right of centre, out to the wing for Lamine Yamal. There's an overlap from Garcia if he wants it. Yamal, back to Pedri. Yamal back into the centre, brought under control by Marc Bernal. Now Martin, good ball down the left, space for Xavi Espart to run into, crossing position now for the fullback. Back to the edge of the area, Bernal lifts it in, and first to react is Louis Jean. He makes a miscued clearance that's going to go for a Barcelona throw, level with the penalty spot on the left-hand side. Taken quickly by Anthony Gordon, taken backwards as well by the Englishman, brought under control by Martin. Now here is Pedri. Bernal back to Gerard Martin. Forward by Kubasi, and turning on the ball is Lopez, out to the right for Lamine Yamal into the attacking third. Back to Fermin Lopez, right of centre. Lamine Yamal to Garcia. Garcia continues his run now as Yamal goes inside and finds Bernal. Bernal in behind looking for the run of Pedri into the right-hand side of the box. And shielding the ball away from the Barcelona number 8 was Aymeric Laporte. There was a question asked on the verge of half-time as to whether or not the Bilbao number 14 would re-emerge for the second half. 2 injury concerns surrounding him throughout the first half. Collisions with Xavi Espart and Lamine Yamal left him a little worse for wear. Up to the point where his manager Edin Terzic has decided he needs replacing. Launched away now by Unai Simon, and being dragged down from behind was the Bilbao captain Inaki Williams. Gerard Martin knowing full well that he was fouling the Ghanaian international. Free kick awarded, and a wry smile afforded on the face of the Barcelona number 18 as he moves away from the scene of the incident. Now here is the goalkeeper, Unai Simon for Athletic Bilbao. Lifts it out to the right-hand side and being clattered into unfairly, according to the referee, is Hugo Rincon, the fullback, brought into the starting 11 ahead of Jesus Areso this evening. Rodri down the touchline now for Barcelona. His debut eagerly anticipated by the majority inside of the Camp Nou. Has been joined in his warm-up now with Karim Adeyemi and Joao Cancelo, as Bilbao try and stab it forward from right to left. The attempted pass was there for Ryan Sanchez. Intercepted well, and Fermin Lopez keeps it under control for Barcelona. Now it's back with Bernal, and Garcia finds Kubasi. Down the line from Espart. Here goes Anthony Gordon. Espart stays with him to the corner of the penalty area. Gordon forced to turn and plays it back to Gerard Martin on the edge of the centre circle. Now Eric Garcia out to the right-hand side this time. Barcelona trying to find a way through. Lamine Yamal might be the man to do it as he feeds the ball into the feet of Fermin Lopez and gets it back after the temporary interception. Yamal hits the crossbar. Got slightly lucky there with the ball being returned back to him on the edge of the box. On the right-hand side of the edge of the box as well, a place where he's made his home and a place where he's scored many goals in his young career. And he's not quite able to get enough dip on that one. It rattles the underside of the woodwork. Centimetres from doubling the Barcelona advantage now, and Bilbao look to counter. It was Guruzeta and Nico Williams driving forward left of centre. With a push in the back on Guruzeta. And an outstretched leg by Pau Kurbasi. It will result in a throw on the left-hand side for Bilbao, to be taken by Louis Jean. Level with the penalty spot is Johannico Louis Jean. Not quite enough lift on the throw to get over the top of Pau Kurbasi, headed back out for a throw about 25 or so yards back. Now Bilbao are forced to play it all the way back to their goalkeeper. Lifted forward by Canales. A bit of a scramble allows Barcelona to win it back on the halfway line with Pedri driving forward. Rafinha, Unai Simon in retreat in his penalty area. Trades passes with Fermin Lopez. Now Lopez again in the penalty area, turns well, tight angle, good save by Unai Simon. Throws a leg out and pokes it beyond his near post. Guarding his goal well there is the Spanish number 1. Plenty of power behind that from Fermin Lopez. Plenty of strength in the save from Simon, and 10 minutes into this second half, Barcelona have a corner. The 1-0 lead they maintain over their visitors at the Camp Nou. Rafinha with an in-swinging delivery. Flicked on at the near post, and eventually away it goes off the head of Louis Jean, who it seems like has been behind everything defensively for Bilbao throughout this match. And of anybody wearing sky blue this evening, I think he's touched the ball the most, as it's lifted forward now by Barcelona. That's an exceptional pass from left to right. I think it was Pedri who pulled it off, and the vision to see the run of Lamine Yamal, who in a foot race with Louis Jean finishes as a tie, and the Frenchman does just about enough to see it out of play. But it's a Barcelona throw. Must have been a 50-yard pass from Pedri to set that up, and now here they come forward again, this time down the left. Here is Anthony Gordon, trying not to show too much of the ball to Rincon. Nice 1-2 with Fermin Lopez. Anthony Gordon tries to lay it off to Rafinha, gets clattered into. Rafinha keeps it alive. Bit too heavy for Lopez, who wins a corner at full stretch to try and fire it back across the face of goal. Gordon stayed down after the collision that took the ball away from him. And a question will certainly be asked now of the video assistant referee. Should that have been a penalty? Gordon is sandwiched as he takes a touch to release the ball into the feet of Fermin Lopez. Rincon on one side, and sliding in to block what he thought was going to be a shot at goal was Aymeric Laporte. Referee in the end says nothing about it. The corner is the outcome, and it's a corner that's wasted by Barcelona now as Lamine Yamal runs into traffic. Williams, he and Guruzeta and his brother Nico doing their best to try and force the counter, but Inaki Williams runs into the Barcelona defence, and Rafinha trying to avoid showing too much of the ball there to Mikel Jarugizar. Now on the halfway line for Barcelona, here is Rafinha. Xavi Espart on the left, plays it back to Gerard Martin. Edge of the centre circle, left of centre. Back into Bilbao territory with Gordon, who's allowed to take a touch and find Lamine Yamal, who lifts it deep across the penalty area, and flicking it away at the far post was Louis Jean. Arriving right on cue was Fermin Lopez. The ball just out of his reach, and helped away from danger by the Bilbao number 31. Throw in on the right hand side, level with the edge of the box for Barcelona. Taken backwards by Garcia to Kubasi. Garcia again. Now Rafinha tries to stab it into the right of centre area for Lamine Yamal. Intercepted before it makes it to the 19-year-old, and backwards goes the ball to Joan Garcia for Barcelona. 58 minutes played at the Camp Nou. Barcelona 1, Athletic Club de Bilbao 0. Rafinha with a goal 10 minutes from the end of the first half. Enough to separate these two teams as it stands. Lamine Yamal driving forward towards the edge of the penalty area. He's taken on 2, 3, 4. Able to release it to the edge of the box on the other side. Xavi Espart, he lines up the shot. Espart beaten away by Unai Simon. And the attempted recovery from Garcia sees him lose out to Louis Jean. Cleared away before being headed out by Kubasi. Bilbao throw to follow. Lamine Yamal with some silky footwork there to escape from Louis Jean and hold off the retreat of Eo Canales. Eventually finding Xavi Espart, who did his best to bend one into the far corner from the edge of the box on the left. And Simon was ready for it. Two substitutions readying themselves for Bilbao at this stage. This is a reminder for you to tune into this game using your local broadcaster and unofficial audio coverage you're listening to. The changes are as follows. Inaki Williams, the captain, is replaced. Like for like with Alex Berenguer, man who started the 3-1 defeat to Sevilla. And the second change will be the removal from the field of, I believe, the second Williams brother, Nico, who's just been sent for an early bath, and his replacement will be the Bilbao number 32, excuse me, the Bilbao number 23, Robert Navarro. Barcelona are readying their first changes of the evening. Dani Olmo was stripped and ready to come on as Bilbao take a throw, long throw forward to be brought down for the first interaction of the game with Berenguer. Second throw to come now for Bilbao after the ball collided with Gordon on its way out. And it looks as though alongside Dani Olmo we're about to see a very big reason for a Barcelona standing ovation, because Rodri is ready for his debut. Marc Bernal. Cross to the left-hand side of the defensive area for Barcelona for Martin, who switches from left to right and gets it very far forward for Lamine Yamal. He brings it down. First touch led him down, but the second one leaves Louis Jean for dead. Louis Jean dragging back Lamine Yamal, and Lamine Yamal knew what was coming, beckoning to the referee. Yellow card awarded to the Frenchman. An hour gone at the Camp Nou. Barcelona 1, Athletic Club de Bilbao 0. Lamine Yamal rinses Louis Jean with the nutmeg on the byline there, and he's dragged back for his troubles. Free kick to come for Barcelona that acts essentially as a corner. Looks as though the wait for the substitutions will go on for the moment, as Rafinha readies this delivery into the danger area. The one-man wall of Johanneco Louis Jean. Rafinha, it's deep, and it's volleyed goalwards by Fermin Lopez and saved by Unai Simon and helped over the top in the end. From the dead centre of the penalty area. Well, Marc Bernal was having something of a wrestling match with Oyan Sanchez to give Fermin Lopez the space there, and with the clearance, I'm not sure the referee's awarded a goal kick or a free kick Athletic Bilbao's way. But whatever the case, it will be an opportunity for them to clear from inside their own box, and with that, here come the Barcelona changes. So Dani Olmo will come on for Rafinha, and to an almighty ovation from the Camp Nou faithful for his Barcelona debut, £60 million from Manchester City, the man who captained his side to World Championship glory, captained his nation, this nation, to World Championship glory in the summer. It's Rodri. Now Bilbao look to upset the apple cart straight away after that injection of joy around the Camp Nou to see their new man grace the field for the first time. Down the right-hand side, a wayward pass goes for a Barcelona throw, and Rodri gets his first touch in a 1-2 with Kubasi. Now Martin threads it forward for Pedri. Out to the left for Gordon. Takes a heavy touch and tries to beat Hugo Rincon for pace, but alert to the situation was Yelay Alvarez, who makes the clearance. Going for Barcelona taken quickly by Gerard Martin, and coming to provide himself as an option is Joan Garcia. Kubasi to Eric Garcia down the right hand side, looking for the run of Fermin Lopez, intercepted comfortably by Louis Jean. And attempting to thread the ball in behind to Guruzeta there was Alex Berenguer. There's a collision just been had now between Dani Olmo, recently introduced to the fray, and Mikel Jarogizar. Sliding in at full pelt was the Bilbao number 18 to clatter the Barcelona number 20 to the floor. More of an impact challenge than anything else that's caused a bit of angst for Dani Olmo, but he's back to his feet now. No medical team intervention necessary. Lamine Yamal picks up the pieces from the following free kick. Espart does well to go inside and then out to escape Jarogizar. Out to the left-hand side for Gordon. He's going to be forced backwards, only back as far as Kubasi, 30 yards from goal. Fermin Lopez flicks the ball up into the air, and then this way and that to try and escape Laporte. Gets into the box, and separating him from the ball was Canales on the retreat. Some special ball control there from Fermin Lopez to hold off Aymeric Laporte, only for the second Bilbao man to make the intervention. Well, here is Rodri now. And the delivery is Gordon's, and the run is Lopez's, and Simon can't get hold of it. And now it's away off Garcia. It'll be a Bilbao goal kick. Fermin Lopez, a little worse for wear there after going up for the loose ball with the Bilbao goalkeeper. Bilbao goal kick will be the outcome then. Long it goes from Unai Simon, brought down well by Guruzeta and lifted out to the left-hand side. Here goes Berenguer into the penalty area, and on the recovery, Eric Garcia does just about enough to stand in the way of Alex Berenguer. Not only does he do enough to intercept the pass, but the challenge being made in Barcelona's favour, the assistant referee on the far side has now raised the flag, which means the Bilbao attack is going to be quashed regardless of whether or not Barcelona maintain possession. And they've maintained it long enough to get it forward to Gordon down the left. Pedri. Back to Kubasi. Now here is Lamine Yamal on the right hand side, trying to find space for delivery. Rodri makes a run into the box that's ignored by the 19-year-old. Kubasi. Martin, 35 yards from goal, left of centre, out towards the left-hand side. Espart wants the delivery, no space to make it. Now Rodri again. Pedri does well to hold off three blue shirts that surround him on the edge of the attacking third. Rodri and Gordon getting a taste of the ball as Barcelona's build-up play begins. Flicky-flacker football coming into full effect. Here is Lamine Yamal, tries to spend it in behind towards Eric Garcia, who's made the run, and the deflected pass was just about able to reach him. Trying to pull it across the face of goal, he pings it away off Aymeric Laporte, his former Manchester City teammate. And a corner is the result. Taken short by Lamine Yamal. Dani Olmo to Pedri. Back to Lamine Yamal. Space for him to deliver now. Almost all the way in from Lamine Yamal, and Unai Simon watching it all the way into his gloves. Now the switch is made from right to left after the throw out by Unai Simon by Navarro. Not able to reach its intended target of his fellow substitution in Berenguer. Barcelona see it back to their goalkeeper and now get it out to Pedri. Thought about the crossfield ball, instead finds a ball in behind down the line. Lamine Yamal takes a heavy touch and Unai Simon capitalises, smothering the ball inside his penalty area. Lamine Yamal at full sprint there, half a yard ahead of the retreating Johannico Louis Jean, who it looks like has pulled up in the race for the loose ball there with Lamine Yamal. The 19-year-old one-on-one with Unai Simon. He would have backed him to have kept the ball under his control a little bit more efficiently than he did. Unai Simon, one of the few goalkeepers on the planet that knows Lamine Yamal's game as well as almost anybody else, with the two players working together closely at international level. Certainly we're doing over the summer. Now one more change is being ready for Athletic Bilbao. Whether or not the man being replaced will be the recently downed Louis Jean is yet to be determined, but the man coming on will no doubt be the number 24 in Beñat Guerrena Barrera. Defensive midfielder who started the 3-1 defeat to Sevilla. As we tick into the 70th minute of this game at the Camp Nou. This is your regular reminder to tune in using your local broadcaster. This is an unofficial audio coverage that you are listening to. Guerrena Barrena ready to come onto the pitch alongside Adama Bioro. And the men being replaced are the following: Johannico Louis Jean for Boiro, and Mikel Yarogizar is going to come off for Guerrena Barrena. who sports his surname on his back, but is often referred to as Benyat, his first name, and the same applies to Adama Boiro as well. For the sake of my voice box, I might well go with Benat and Adama for the remainder of this match. I do hope you don't mind. That's a throw-in taken by Adama. And we played back to the goalkeeper Unai Simon. Headed back where it came from and attempted to be flicked on by Dani Olmo, who was retreating, it seemed, from an offside position. The assistant referee says nothing about it. And Rodri on the halfway line left of centre. Towards passes with Javi Espart, and now here is Kubasi on the right hand side. Eric Garcia further out to the wide area, back to Kubasi, and all the way back to the edge of the Barcelona penalty area now with Joan Garcia. Lamine Yamal trying to play the ball into the feet of Garcia from the halfway line. Intercepted by the newly introduced Benyat. Oh, and that's careless from Gerard Martin, who does very well indeed to recover and get to the loose ball after passing it straight into the feet of Robert Navarro. The deflection was kind to the Barcelona defender. And even kinder is a cheeky back heel now by Lamine Yamal to find Fermin Lopez. Here they come on the counter. Lamine Yamal, fantastic ball in behind and running into the box. And taking the shot on from the centre of the penalty area is Anthony Gordon. Making his way out to the right-hand side of the box. Unable to wrap his foot around it and bury it in the near corner. Unai Simon watching it all the way. Deflected away, actually. The shot from Anthony Gordon. Uri Alvarez doing enough to put off the Englishman. Corner will be Lamine Yamal's. The delivery is allowed to land in the penalty area before being launched away from danger by Uri Alvarez. Well, the official attendance is out for this evening's game at the Camp Nou. Well over 59,000 inside of the famous old stadium in Catalonia. Capacity as of right now is 62,652. It's a capacity that's going to be well on its way to 105,000 as the renovations continue. Rodri, not often we say this about the Spaniard, but he's given it away in the middle of the pitch. On the right hand side goes Navarro all the way further forward to allow for the cross, which Rodri himself is back to intervene on. Headed half away, but Bilbao keep it going. Navarro with another delivery and over the top this time. Off the head of Alex Berenguer. Determination from Athletic Club de Bilbao here. Not willing to let this game go. It is only 1-0. Barcelona generally the more dominant in possession and the more opportunities to get the ball forward, but only scoring one goal oftentimes in football isn't enough. In Barcelona, your odds are increased massively in that regard, but Bilbao are not going to roll over and show their bellies this evening. Now Adama heads it forward. Here is Benyat. Wants to get the return from Berenguer. Intercepted and headed away by Dani Olmo, and now Fermin Lopez brings it down in stride. Gets to the halfway line before releasing it to Gordon. Bodies getting forward for Barcelona, Olmo and Yamal included. Here goes Gordon now, left-hand side of the box. Lifts it over towards Lamine Yamal and intercepted by Adama at the back post. Recovered now by Peo Canales, who twists this way and that to escape Lamine Yamal, and Adama now lifts it over. The chase is on for Berenguer, and he is going to get there ahead of Eric Garcia, tracked all the way now by the Barcelona number 24, and there was definitely some grabbing there by Berenguer, but he finds on the edge of the box, it's Sanchez who hits the post. Launched away by Eric Garcia. Opportunities like that for Oyan Sanchez at the edge of the Barcelona penalty area, fizzed onto the base of the post by the Athletic Bilbao number 8. as Barcelona were too busy claiming for a free kick they weren't going to get. Sanchez very nearly found the gap to bring his team level. And the emergency clearance by Garcia results in a Bilbao corner, 15 minutes from full time. Bit of renewed vigour about Bilbao as Berenguer gets ready for this corner kick, in swinging from the left-hand side. Towards the near post, flicked up into the air but not out of the penalty area. Xavi Espart now is able to lay it off to an almighty clearance made by Pau Kubasi. Getting there first is Adama and just about keeping it in play after his first touch, and he returns the ball to Unai Simon, who launches it back where it came from now for Bilbao. Chases on down the left-hand side. That's actually turned into a phenomenal pass by Unai Simon. And the touch from Berenguer bounces the ball away off Eric Garcia. Throw in for Bilbao, level with the edge of the Barca penalty area. They're in the mood to take it quickly. Beñat. Berenguer tries to clip it into the left-hand side of the box. Beñat's going to get it back here, and another ball into the danger area is smothered by Johan Garcia. Barcelona will just want to slow things down now. They've afforded a little bit of momentum to their opponents. And perhaps the opposite of slowing things down is to bring on somebody like Karim Adeyemi, whose game relies so heavily on his incredible pace. But he is stripped and ready to come on. Perhaps an injection of energy from the German will be enough to reinvigorate Barcelona's dominance over this game. Here is Eric Garcia now at the back for Barcelona. Lopez, Yamal in front of him, trades passes with the number 10. Rodri. Garcia into the feet of Lamine Yamal, who plays it first time to Fermin Lopez. Claims for offside by the Bilbao defenders. Going to be ignored for the moment. See how this potential attacking opportunity plays out for Barcelona. Garcia back to Martin, and now out to the left. Bit of space for Gordon. Espart's made the overlapping run. Gordon's held onto it for the moment and barged his way beyond two players in blue before being brought down. Referee says no free kick between Hugo Rincon and Beñat. They've done enough to put off the Englishman. Very much separating him from the ball in a way that he certainly didn't like. Theatrical tumble taken by the former Newcastle and Everton forward. And spell at Preston North End buried in there too in his early career. Free kick to come for Barcelona after all. The referee has decided that Gordon was fouled. And standing over the top of it will be Dani Olmo, right-footed, two-man wall. Olmo short to Pedri. Pedri to the edge of the box. Lamine Yamal. It's blocked by a sea of bodies, but the clearance leaves something to be desired. Fermin Lopez back to Dani Olmo. Lifted deep. Headed at the back post by Garcia. Players going down all over the penalty area. Up goes Rodri with the knockdown. Gordon lifts it into the overhead kick, and a brilliant reaction stop by Unai Simon. Not that it mattered. The offside flag is up. Eric Garcia back to his feet after a clash of heads. Kubasi was the man with the acrobatic attempt from the edge of the 6-yard box. Alert to the situation. It's a brilliant reaction save from Unai Simon. Predicted where it was going phenomenally as Gordon lifted it over to Kubasi, who made his mind up very quickly with what he wanted to do. Unai Simon gambled and guessed correctly. Now, I believe there's just a question as to whether or not, as Eric Garcia went for that header, did it graze the outstretched arm of Aymeric Laporte? I don't believe it has, because the substitutions for Barcelona are ready to come on, and one of those will be Jules Koundé. So like for like with Eric Garcia, right back for right back, converted centre back for converted centre back. The other change will be Anthony Gordon being replaced. Well, the wait for a league goal for Barcelona goes on for the Englishman, but Karim Adeyemi, who broke his seal for Barcelona last time out against Elche, he's introduced to the fray. And for the mathematicians amongst you, that makes 4 changes for the defending champions. Adeyemi And Koundé introduced. And immediately, Koundé is going to be included in some defensive duties for Barcelona, because on the right-hand side for Bilbao, but Navarro has won a corner kick, which he will take out swinging. There's nobody coming close as an option. The referee just telling the number 23 to hold up for a brief moment. Oh, in fact, it won't be a corner after all. Whether or not the referee saw something that the assistant didn't. But the referee's now said, nope, no corner kick. Barcelona goal kick. Apparently the final touch came off of the Bilbao substitutes. And speaking of Bilbao substitutes, there's one more to be made. Off goes Gorka Guruzeta, and in his stead comes Alvaro Diallo, another player born in the Basque region in Spain who does not represent the country in which he was born at international level. A multi-time Guinea-Bissau cap earner. Fermin Lopez, here is Jules Koundé, runs headfirst into Yaray Alvarez. Barcelona waste no time winning it back though with Martin to Rodri to Esparta, now out to the left. Here goes Adeyemi getting his first touches of the ball. Adeyemi across the face, not dealt with Fermin Lopez, it's a tap-in. That is a defensive disaster for Athletic Club de Bilbao, and Barcelona reap the rewards. Fermin Lopez gets his third goal in 2 games, and he will nary have an easier opportunity to put the ball in the net throughout his career. Karim Adeyemi's impact is felt instantly at the Camp Nou as the hosts double their lead. Allowed to stretch his legs down the left for the first time, and he makes just enough space to drag the ball across the 6-yard box. And I'm not entirely sure which Bilbao defender it was that made an absolute hash of the clearance. As it's played across, it's Aymeric Laporte who gets his angles all wrong. He tries to clear it with his right and eventually leads with his left and does nothing but stab the ball beyond his own goalkeeper. And Fermin Lopez latches onto it from half a yard and says, thank you very much indeed. 8 minutes of normal time to play. Barcelona 2, Athletic Club de Bilbao 0. And 3 points almost guaranteed for Hansi Flick's team. Bilbao get us back underway for the closing stages of this match, and after forcing it forward to Joan Garcia, they're going to try again on the left-hand side. The delivery is deep and teasing from Berenguer. A little bit too deep in the end. It lifts over the top of everybody wearing sky blue and out for a Barcelona goal kick beyond Joan Garcia's far post. And readying himself for the final change of the evening for Barcelona is the Portuguese fullback João Cancelo, a summer re-arrival to the Camp Nou from Al Hilal after his contract was terminated in Saudi Arabia. Not a penny paid for the transfer fee of João Cancelo, as it's lifted over the top by Fermin Lopez again. Here come Barcelona, Lamine Yamal square, Adeyemi, what a reaction stop! And the offside flag is up again, but the only person that seems to be waiting for the whistle for Bilbao is Unai Simon. As Fermin Lopez lifted it over the top, the offside trap came into effect for Bilbao, but that didn't stop Yamal squaring it for Adeyemi from 6 yards, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, flying across his own goal, sticks out a leg and skies it over the top of his own crossbar. That is exceptional goalkeeping. And there's going to be an offside now as Bilbao try and build up their own attack. And as play slows down following Sanchez's retrieval of the ball, the assistant on the far side does raise the flag, and now is the time for Barcelona to make their change. Pedri is going to be the man replaced. And that is 5 substitutions for Barcelona. Hailed as a hero as he makes his way off the pitch. He got the assist for the opening goal this evening. Pedri setting up Rafinha to make it 1-0 in the closing stages of the first half. João Cancelo will come on for the final 5 minutes to see out the results for the Blaugrana. Now Rodri lifts it out to the left-hand side, chested down by Adeyemi, or more accurately, chested up by Adeyemi. He was able to keep the ball under his spell, and now it's played back to the defender Gerard Martin, even further back now to Garcia. Rodri back to Martin. Olmo helps it on to the newly introduced Joao Cancelo. Seems as though Cancelo is going to move into the left-back position, and Javier Espart is going to move forward into the defensive midfielder position vacated by Pedri as Lamine Yamal picks up the ball. Jules Koundé. Now Rodri, through the eye of a needle into the feet of Gerard Martin, lifted out from left to right, back over towards Lamine Yamal. Trying not to show too much of the ball to Adama, attempts to slip it in behind, intercepted by Laporte, out only as far as Koundé, and Yamal can't get there, intercepted by Benyat and sent back to Unai Simon, who makes the first time clearance. A little awkwardly defended there, but defended nonetheless by Bilbao. Right to the halfway line, where it was returned to sender by Pau Kerbasi with a commanding header that goes all the way out for a Bilbao goal kick. Launched away now by Unai Simon, chested into the air by Oyan Sanchez. Barcelona regain possession on the halfway line. Here is Martin, forced to turn by the press of Alvaro Giallo. And some more press, this time on Rodri from behind by Oyan Sanchez. And the referee's sympathy for a brief moment. Advantage played and very nearly taken advantage of down the left. Joao Cancelo in a battle with Giallo. Eventually the ball is skewered away for a throw-in that will go the way of Athletic Club de Bilbao. After the throw-in, a free kick has been awarded. Battle between Adeyemi and Robert Navarro to try and win the loose ball. Sees the German just get a little too over-aggressive with his opposite number. Bilbao free kick that is played backwards to Unai Simon, and now here is Adama. Switches from left to right. The chase is on for Giallo. He's not going to get there. It's chested down a little unconvincingly by Joao Cancelo, but Johan Garcia had the freedom of the penalty area to recover the ball before there was any pressure applied. Rodri and Adeyemi trade passes now, and here is Koundé on the right. Down the line for Lamine Yamal. Adama staying close to his designated man to mark. Lopez plays it backwards to Kubasi. Now here is Martin to Rodri on the halfway line, left of centre. Rodri lifts it out to the right hand side, chested down by Lamine Yamal again. Adama sticking to him. Lamine Yamal, space for the cross. Adeyemi from close range, and again Unai Simon reacts. And he reacts very angrily as well to the fact that his defence did not do him any favours there. Fantastic save by Unai Simon, scrambling across his net to smother the close-range half-volley for Karim Adeyemi, who very nearly had 2 goals in 2 league games for Barcelona in his career. To give Unai Simon credit, this game could have been 4 or 5 if it weren't for his goalkeeping heroics. But here they come again now, Barcelona, and it's Lamine Yamal in the penalty area who is stopped by a commanding sliding challenge from Aymeric Laporte. Corner is the outcome. And Unai Simon may be called upon again very shortly, as Barcelona continue the onslaught in the closing stages of this match. Corner taken short. Olmo to Cancelo. Now Rodri back towards Olmo, intercepted very well by Benyat, who can't quite release it down the line. And at the second attempt, the pass is made towards Giallo, but recovering enough to clear it away before he reaches it is Gerard Martin. Throwing for Bilbao. Taken quickly by Navarro on the left-hand side. He might make space for the cross now from deep, about 10 or 12 yards back from the edge of the penalty area, excuse me. Now in defence with Alvarez. Rincon. Now in the midfield with Benyat, back to Hugo Rincon. Lifts it out towards the left-hand side from the right. Brought down by Navarro. He's got a yard on Koundé to be able to emerge into the box. Across the penalty area towards Berenguer, intercepted, and Dani Olmo can spark the counter now after getting the ball into his feet from Espart. Here goes Lamine Yamal. He and Olmo driving forward down the right. Adeyemi in space on the left. Lamine Yamal tries to lift it over for the run of Olmo. A bit too much on it. And as the game ticks into the 90th minute, Unai Simon smothers the ball. 4 additional minutes, according to the assistant referee on the touchline. Benyat out to the left-hand side for Berenguer. Lifted over the top for the run of the substitute Robert Navarro. Gerard Martin across to clear because it went over the top of Kubasi. Navarro leaves the throw for Berenguer. And short. The return is given by Berenguer. Navarro takes a smart touch to try and escape Rodri, but Koundé on the recovery gets there first. Now Adeyemi steps on the gas. He's going to get there at the halfway line ahead of Yeray Alvarez. Adeyemi forced to slow things down now as Bilbao defenders retreat all around him. Joining him in the attack though is Xavi Espart. Backwards to Rodri. Rodri across to Lamine Yamal, bit of space. Lamine Yamal wants it on the left foot, and it's a fairly tame effort by his standards. Low into the arms of Unai Simon, who's saved plenty more terrifying to save than that one. Made much better saves throughout this match than the one that was required of him there. And as Bilbao attempt to go down the line, Joan Garcia is there to reach it before Diallo can. I believe that Alvaro Diallo was offside anyway as he emerged towards the ball. Free kick taken for Barcelona by Garcia. Rodri trade passes with Fermin Lopez. Now Koundé. Out to Yamal on the right. Back to Jules Koundé. 2 minutes of the additional 4 burned. If you'd like to see the photo finish to this match, you can tune in on your local broadcaster now as between Fermin Lopez and Dani Olmo, they try and put together some one-touch passing forward facing attack. Olmo couldn't get to the loose ball, and Fermin Lopez has his arms all over Adama there as the 2 men battle for the same ball. Free kick awarded Bilbao's way. It's Benyat who plays it back to Unai Simon, the goalkeeper. If Bilbao are going to get anything out of this game, it's probably going to have to be now that they score, but 1 goal won't be enough even for a point at this stage. Through the middle, here they go with Canales. He switches from right to left, looking for the run of Berenguer, and Jules Koundé gets it wrong. Berenguer with a chance to cross now from the left-hand side, and Koundé on the recovery gets in the way. Corner kick to come for Athletic Club de Bilbao. Koundé attempting to keep the ball on the turn and maintain his momentum. Barreled right into Berenguer and fell over. Very little contact. Berenguer with the resulting corner now. In comes a delivery from the substitutes. Headed away at the near post by Dani Olmo. It's going to be chased down by Benyat. Back to Berenguer, the corner taker. No offside as he looks to lift it into the box again, and it's flicked on at the near post, but not enough direction on the header from Aymeric Laporte in the end, and it will be a Barcelona goal kick with about 30 seconds of additional time to play. Joan Garcia is smart with his minutes here. He might be able to exhaust those 30 seconds before he even kicks the ball. Well, it's been another day at the office for the Blaugrana this evening. A 5-0 win on the opening day against Elche, and an opportunity to show off their debutants in this routine victory as it's panning out to be. And with the full-time whistle now after the short goal kick by Joan Garcia, the 3 points are confirmed for Hansi Flick's team. It was the captain Rafinha 10 minutes from the break in the first half who latched onto a ball that cut through the Bilbao defence by Pedri and rounded Unai Simon to break the deadlock. And despite some heroic saves throughout this match from the Bilbao number 1, in the end it was their defence that was their undoing as Aymeric Laporte made a mess of a Karim Adeyemi delivery from the left to set up Fermin Lopez for his 3rd in 2 games to partner Rafinha with that goal-scoring record. And Barcelona's perfect starts to the new league campaign as defending champions continues. 7 goals scored, none conceded, 6 points available, 6 points gained. Full time at the Camp Nou. Barcelona 2, Athletic Club de Bilbao 0. Thank you very much for tuning in to this live audio coverage. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. I've been Jay Cooper, and we'll see you very soon for some more live football action. Goodbye for now.